We're not going to
okay.
do the whole, hey, everybody. Okay, sorry for the late thing because, my headphones are like jacked up now and I'm very concerned because they were expensive. But, okay, so we have a very special guest tonight with us. And let's see, fingers crossed. I'm going to plug this back in. Okay, we are good. My mic's up and running again. All right, so I'm gonna let.
How come you didn't do the introduction?
Oh, no, that's because that's for when we do the Theater 101 episodes. I should make one for. You want to see it?
Yeah.
All right, let's show Cher this.
So then I can do my curtains and put my curtains. So yeah, let her see it.
I don't think that is. Go ahead. Whatever. Go ahead. I'm gonna hit. Go ahead. There you go, Christina. Okay, so I'm gonna bring our special guest in and let her let her introduce herself, and we're gonna jump right on into it. Okay, so let me put up the chat because Mike will jump on me if I'm not paying attention to the chat. So hi.
Hello.
So do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to those who do not know who you are?
Yes, I am Cher Lambeth. I am a professional costume prop and puppet builder. In addition to teaching the costume class at Winthrop, I also work on film and television productions. I worked with the Muppets on Muppet Christmas Carol. I've done costumes on movies such as The Patriot, The Hunger Games, Leatherheads, and recently had a co-starring role in the Vampire Diaries spinoff Legacies. So luckily, I keep pretty busy in the industry.
Yes. So for those who do not know, Cher is also I was lucky enough to have her as a professor in this past spring, and then I get to have her again in the fall. I'm very excited.
That's right.
So yeah. We have Michelle and Christina prepared some questions for you guys, and anyone who's watching, you guys are more than welcome to drop questions in the chat, and I'll pull them up on the screen. So we're gonna I can't talk. Michelle, would you like to kick us off? Sorry, I can't talk, y'all.
Sure.
I've been at the grocery store all day.
My first question is how did you get into all this business, like starting from puppeteering into costumes and props?
I actually started out in costumes and props. I majored in costumes and drama at UNC Chapel Hill, and then went did a year study at the Juilliard School, which was awesome. I got a chance to actually work in New York in the industry. But I'd always been interested in making costumes and props at home for myself. I was always playing dress up. I always loved making things out of boxes and bottle caps, stuff like that. And then I got into puppetry. Like many people, I grew up with Sesame Street. I loved the Muppets and always watching some of their productions. I was like, that looks like so much fun. And so that led me into learning about puppetry and being able to make puppets and perform puppets. And eventually, as I said, I was lucky enough to actually be able to work with the good folks at Jim Henson. And that was an amazing experience.
Christina?
What was it like filming with the movies that were like cast and everything, because you were helping out and you were part of it? What was the best part of it, to work with them and getting their costumes all ready?
It's funny, and I always tell my class this. One of the things I learned when I first started working in the film industry is that film professionals in costumes and props many times do things exactly the same way that, for instance, fans would. We're always looking for inexpensive ways to make costumes and props. We're always looking for items that you might not think about, thinking outside the box, so to speak. And that's one of my favorite things about working in the field. I write a blog, or I'm working on a blog, and one of the things I talk about is the original series Star Trek, for instance, had so little money. And so many of their items are just things that they found around, like the medical instruments are salt and pepper shakers and tape recorders.
Oh, wow.
The tip of their gun is the top of a ketchup and mustard bottle. So it's really fun to see some of those things. If you know where to look in movies and TV, it's a really fun scavenger hunt.
Also, what was your favorite costume to make for your favorite? Yeah, for your favorite film, or your favorite costume of all to make? But anything.
That's a really tough one.
It came in my head, so it popped in my head. So I was like, let me just ask her this. Not a hard question, but it is.
Well, in costume wise, it's hard to say. I do have to say that certainly my favorite projects were the things I did with the Muppets. It was just amazing seeing in person these characters that I had grown up with in my childhood. I mean, it's like meeting your favorite movie star in person.
Okay.
But one fun prop that I really enjoyed working on just because of the things involved with it was I worked on the TV show Homeland, which shot here in Charlotte for many years before they moved on. And I had to help build a prop. I helped the prop master build a prop of a vest that was supposed to have a bomb concealed in it. And so I'm going around town looking for things like wire and ball bearings and other things. And people are looking at me like, what are you making? I had to explain to them exactly what I was doing. But that was a challenging but fun project to work on.
I meant to ask you. Oh, sorry, Christina, go ahead.
Sure. And you said you worked on the Muppets, the Christmas Carol, you said?
I did Muppets Christmas Carol and the TV show Dinosaurs.
So is that's on Disney Plus, right? The Muppets Christmas
Yes.
Carol?
Yeah, it's all come back. And so I'm looking at it going, oh, I remember those days.
And what year did that film? In the 90s?
Oh, yeah, I'm dating myself, but yes, it filmed in the 90s. I was in the Muppet Workshop in 1992, and the movie came out the year after.
Yeah, I was born in 93, so I probably watched it as a kid.
She's
and I lived by Sesame Place. So have you ever been to New Jersey? If you've ever been to Sesame Place, you got to go one day and just see, like, oh my gosh.
Yes. Well, and I'll just say I was very, very young at the time. I had just gotten out of school. So.
Oh, and also one more question. Did you go to college where Liz is going now? Did you go to that?
Well, are you a Winthrop alumni?
Yeah, no, I did not go to Winthrop. I've been teaching there for about 4 or 5 years now. And as I said, I went to Chapel Hill and UNC Chapel Hill, go Tar Heels, yay! And studied at the Juilliard School for a year and have worked in various places. But it was interesting. I actually stumbled on the job at Winthrop. A friend of mine who's also a former student kind of set me on to it. And so I went and applied for the job and was lucky to get it. I loved it. They hired me on the spot. So that was certainly great. And I've definitely enjoyed being at the school. We get to do a lot of really interesting things.
It's very stressful at times. Very, very stressful.
It can be, but as you know, any theater certainly can be. It's a lot of work and you rush, and then you finally get to the point where it's like, okay, we're done.
i.e. Courage. That one was hard.
Yes. Well, and especially COVID too, as you all know, COVID has certainly impacted the industry in so many ways. Broadway shut down for a while.
Yeah. I know someone that's on Broadway. He works with me now. He went back to the same job where I work at, and he was working in New York and other productions. And
whoa, who's this Broadway guy? Who's this Broadway guy?
About him. He makes costumes just like her. He does costumes.
She's mentioned him before.
Oh, well then shows you how much.
Yeah, he helped out with all over, like from South Carolina to New York and everywhere, like. And he's young too, so he misses it so much.
Oh yeah,
because of COVID. It's just
September. I think mid-September, Broadway's opening back up, so he'll probably be able to go back up there. Hopefully. It's gonna be madness. I don't even want to be up there when it first opens up. What? Oh, Mike, you're sending me. Okay, what? Won't be chatting much. Sadly, Steph and I are with Aaron and Roxy for their 1-year anniversary, and they're getting married. What? Steph is the maid of honor, and I'm the best man video. Oh, okay. Well, congrats. Give them our congrats, I guess.
Hi, Aaron. Hi, Roxy. Hi, Steffi.
I guess I'll ask a question before Michelle goes again. Is there like a show that you would die to work on? You like theater or film? What was there like?
Oh, absolutely. Anything Star Wars.
Oh,
really?
I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. I love I've always loved Star Wars and would definitely love to be a part of working on something for the Star Wars universe. And in a very small way I belong to a costuming group called the 501st Legion. Mm-hmm. We dress up as the bad guys, the Stormtroopers, Darth Vader, bounty hunters. But we have gotten to the point, we started out as a very small handful of costumers back in 1997. I joined in 98. And now we have thousands and thousands of members worldwide. And we've gotten to the point where we do official events for Disney and Lucasfilm. I was able to go to South Africa a few years ago as a stormtrooper in South Africa.
Oh, that had to be hot.
Yeah, it was awesome to promote Adidas's line of Star Wars clothing. I've gotten to travel to Japan, to Germany, all over the country to work on some of the Star Wars events that we have going on. So that has been a great experience. But yes, I would dearly love to work on any of the Star Wars movies or TV shows.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised you didn't say Doctor Who. How's your Dalek going?
Oh, the Dalek is going. I actually worked on it some. I went up to Virginia and worked on it some with some friends last weekend. So it's coming along. I think I may have bitten off a little more than I can chew.
Well, you can handle it.
Oh, well, those Daleks were made, they don't have a human operator inside. Those were completely remote control. So trying to figure out how to fit myself inside, it's a challenge, but we'll see. I'll be posting progress pics.
I can't wait. For those of you who don't know, she also is a huge Whovian like me.
Yes. Yes.
Have you been to Disney since Star Wars has happened? Like the new rides? Have you been there yet?
Galaxy Edge.
Yeah,
I have not. Because of course, you know, with COVID going on, the travel restrictions, kicked in. I personally have not. I am planning to go later this fall and hopefully be able to see that. But many of my friends have gone, and they've told me it's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
You
went, Christina, didn't you? You've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I told our friend Mike when I go down there, he has to get my reaction because I guarantee you, I will cry. I cried when I saw Diagon Alley, and I'll cry when I see Galaxy's Edge.
Because I've also been to Galaxy's Edge. I was there opening day, and also opening day for it was my birthday.
Mm.
Wow,
that's awesome!
That had
what
to
a great
be
way to spend your birthday. And that's what I plan to do.
Because I wanted to hit all 4 parks and everything, but it was really extraordinary. It was so much fun.
Nah, that 4 parks in one day. No, that 4 parks in one day thing is not something to mess around. I did like twice, and I was like, too much.
Liz and I should have done it. We didn't do it. We did 2 parks in one. No, we did 3 parks in one day.
We've done 3. We did 3. We did Hollywood, Magic, and Epcot. Because I love Epcot. I spent all my time at Epcot. Michelle, got anything?
So with you also, what was the differences between working with puppeteering on the Muppets Christmas Carol and with Dinosaur?
With Muppet Christmas Carol, in addition to having large puppets such as the Ghost of Christmas Present and some of the others, they also had the small hand-operated puppets, like you're familiar with Kermit, Miss Piggy, Gonzo, all of those. Of course, they're certainly much smaller. They're made for the puppeteer to perform. In Dinosaurs is different in that they had a few hand-operated puppets, but it's mostly large character costumes. And the interesting thing about Dinosaurs is that it's a performer in the large costume, and then the facial features were actually remote controlled. They were radio controlled by a performer off camera. So the performer in the suit was walking around and doing hand motions, and the performer off camera was performing the facial features with a little radio control remote. So I didn't actually get a chance to be on set for Dinosaurs. We built the characters in the shop in New York, and then we had to ship it, and they shot it in LA. So unfortunately, I didn't actually get a chance to be on set. But certainly helping to work inside those character costumes, looking at some of the animatronics that were involved, it was really interesting to see how you had all of those features that came together to create this one character.
Yeah, because it was a TV show. You can find Dinosaurs on Disney Plus. I've been watching it a little bit here and there, and I think they even have behind the scenes, and they were showing stuff about the puppeteering a little bit, them in the costume moving around, and you would see wires on them, and I was just like, oh, so that controls this controls that. I'm like, that's so cool. A human puppet.
Absolutely. And many times they would, for the power, while they're on set, they would just plug them in to the nearest outlet, because of course they had to have power to go to the animatronics. So they had power cords, and they would plug them in to power all of those remote controlled features.
Is it bad? I have no idea what show you guys are talking about. I know.
It's the
Muppets.
It's the old Dinosaurs. It's from before we were even born.
All right, we're gonna watch an episode when you come to class this fall.
Okay.
Christina. I mean, not Christina. I mean, Liz. Okay,
Yeah.
so.
I mean, I know the right dinosaurs like Aladar and all of them, but I don't think that's.
One of my early TikToks I did of Not the Mama. You remember that? That's from Dinosaurs.
Oh,
Yep. Oh, really?
that show. Okay.
You do that
Okay,
one more time.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
him.
I've never seen an episode of that show. I can proudly say. Actually, I
But
don't
yeah,
think
just go through my past TikToks, and I did a TikTok on that.
Yeah, a lot of people do that sound. Okay. Christina, do you have?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it looks like a weird show. Like I don't know. It looks like a very weird show. It looks like something I would like because I like that.
So you
kind
were
of-
never on. You were never on set then. You were just the costumes and you helped.
Yeah, that's correct. As I said, we built everything in the shop in New York and had to ship the costumes to LA. And that's actually where they did the final finishing on them. They would do the painting there and, of course, connect all the animatronics and get them prepared for shooting. So, yeah, I never got a chance to actually be on set with them. But it was certainly really fascinating to see how they all went together behind the scenes.
I bet. Oh. Michelle.
I do have one. I remember one funny story when we were getting ready to ship them. So the Henson workshop was on 67th Street, New York. It's not there anymore, but that's where we built things. And then the shipping facility was a little ways down the sidewalk, down the street. So I remember we put all these dinosaurs in like a laundry cart, basically a big laundry cart, and we're rushing them down the street to get them to the shipping facility. So here we have this cart full of dinosaurs with their tails waving everywhere. I'm sure people did not know what to make of that.
Bro, my computer keeps muting me. Okay. Well, then here's a question. What has been like oh my gosh, I can't talk. I need to go to bed. What has been a wardrobe malfunction like that you that will always stay in your mind, like you'll never be able to forget?
Oh my goodness.
Or if you had any.
I don't know that I've really had any. I can't think of one thing. Many years ago when I was in school, this was when I was still a student, I worked on the Lost Colony outdoor drama, which is, of course, play on the outer, near the Outer Banks. It talks about the first English colony that was established here in North Carolina in 1585. And there's a scene where Sir Walter Raleigh is telling Queen Elizabeth about the things he has seen in the New World. And I remember one night the performer did his bow as he was supposed to, and he used to keep his cigarettes tucked in the waistband of his costume. Well, as he did his bow, his cigarettes fell out on stage. And we were like, oh no. And someone said that he should have joked that, oh, look, Your Majesty, I have brought you tobacco from the New World. But, of course he didn't. He just tucked them back up. But, certainly that was one funny moment I remember. Luckily, I've never really had a situation where I've had anyone had a bad wardrobe malfunction.
That's
Knock
good.
on wood. I hope that never happens.
I mean, my whole desk is wood, so there you go.
Yeah.
Christina, you have anything?
I'm looking at the movie on your
Are you looking
IMDb.
at her IMDb page?
Yes. Sorry. I'm looking
No,
at the
'cause
New World. So were you in? Because it says actress, so actress, and it says the New World. What was that like filming, or did you film it? Were you in costuming?
Were you?
I was not in that movie. I worked in wardrobe on that movie, and for the New World, and also for the Patriot and Homeland. I did what was called dyeing and aging. I was the dyer ager, a dyer ager, and what that is, that's the person who, when you get in brand new costumes, for instance, that they bought or that the costume shop has just made, then you have to make them look worn, old, lived in. In some cases, in Homeland, for instance, you had to make them look blown up, torn apart. And that's what the dyer and ager does. And that's what I did on New World. I had to take all these beautiful costumes that the costume department had gotten, and then we had to make them look like somebody had actually been wearing them for years. Like these were their clothes, and they had to look like they were being worn. So that was my job on the New World. And one of my favorite stories oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you can talk. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, one of my favorite stories about the New World. So, of course, Colin Farrell was the leading actor in that film. And certainly would see him from time to time on set. I didn't actually dress him. He, of course, had a personal dresser, but I worked on his costumes. I worked on his clothing. And I remember that year, a good friend of mine was getting married, and I sadly could not make her bridal shower because I was working on the film at the time. And she called me up and she said, "Why are you not at my bridal shower?" And I said, "Well, I've got my hands in Colin Farrell's pants. Is that?" And she said, "That is the best excuse ever. You are
But it's not an excuse, technically. That's the glory of it.
Did you get to meet Christopher Plummer?
I did, actually. I did. And I'm so glad I got the chance to do that.
Yeah, Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, I actually worked on his costume. I worked really hard on one of his costumes too. And I'm so glad I got the chance to actually meet him before he passed away. He was very stately. I'm so glad I got a chance to meet him.
Yeah, I heard about his acting.
I had to look him up. Oh, he was in Sound of Music. Okay, I had to actually look him up.
Yeah, because he was in The Sound of Music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome that you got, because I was like, wait a second, and Liz is like, who? And I'm just like, wait, I'm saying it right.
Okay, to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of his movies, and I haven't seen not Silence of the Lambs, Sound of Music, and such a long time.
So what was it like working with him and meeting him? What was it like? Because everyone knows who he is from The Sound of Music.
Except for me.
Yes, well, and I didn't work with him very, very closely. Of course, I would see him on set from time to time. And it's, in a film production, as it is with theater, you have a difference between the crew that works on the costumes and props behind the scenes, so to speak, and then you've got your on-set crew. And I have done both. There are times where I've been working in the shop, and then times I've been on set. And I was not on set much for The New World. I worked behind the scenes at our base camp in our costume shop, helping to dye and age the costumes that they needed. And every so often I would go on set and help with things, but not many times. So I didn't get a chance to work too closely with them, but
at least you got to do the Captain Smith. You got to work with Colin.
Yes, I've got some great pictures of Colin Farrell. And one other neat thing I always loved about being on The New World was one of the other actors was David Thewlis, who played Professor Lupin in the Harry Potter films. Now, as Liz knows, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Yes, I was excited to get a chance to see him too. And again, part of our job as a dyer ager is if you're on set, then between takes, if someone needs, like maybe a little more dirt on their costume, they need a little more rumpling on their costume. That was one of the things I got to do. And a couple of times I got to go and adjust David Thewlis's costume and add some more dirt. And a friend of mine commented, "I understand you got to adjust Professor Lupin's costume." So that was a lot of fun.
That is like amazing. That's awesome. From Harry Potter, you probably just because Harry Potter was just coming out. So
I love Harry Potter. Yes.
So was he filming? Was it filming this?
I'm sure he must have been. Yeah, because this was 2004, and
he would have been filmed. It would have been either.
It was the third one. The third one.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Prisoner of Azkaban. Yeah. And, he couldn't tell her even if he was. I'm pretty sure that's like a breach of contract.
Yeah, the confidential.
Yeah, so that's a big
deal. It was awesome. You got you loved Harry Potter, and you're like, oh my gosh, I know who he is, and
yes.
Did you?
This was way before Harry Potter, but I also got to work with Jason Isaacs on The Patriot.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to.
As you all know, Jason Isaacs plays such a great villain, but in real life, he is such a kind and sweet person.
For those of you I remember.
Seeing him on The Patriot, he was so mean and evil, and he would, be backstage and go, "Watch me, I have to go out and be mean and evil," and he would go out and do his part, and then he'd come back and he's like, "How was that? I was really evil, wasn't I?" So that was a lot of fun.
Mel Gibson starred in it too.
Yeah,
right? Mel Gibson.
Yeah. I've heard mixed things about Mel Gibson, but when I heard it,
And then did you also get to ever see Heath Ledger?
Oh, that's right. He was in it too.
He was.
He was on The Patriot.
Yeah, he played.
He was
Gabriel, right? He played Gabriel, right?
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, and I've got some great pictures of him too from when we worked on The Patriot, and I was so sorry when he passed away.
But he was young, right?
Yes, he was. I think it was a drug overdose. I think.
Was it drugs or was it a car accident?
No. Paul Walker. Paul Walker. Yeah, Paul Walker was a.
Oh yeah, he was the Joker. Crash. He was the Joker.
Yes,
he's my favorite Joker because I think he just wants a dark he brought a very good dark side of the Joker, and that's why I love him. And then there's Jack Nicholson, whatever. But he's old news. Everyone's talking about this new guy who played Joker, who I've not seen. I've not seen the movie yet, and I don't plan.
I haven't either.
I have.
Is there
it's
like?
good.
It is.
Oh, it's sad, but it's good.
Oh, I just saw F9, so that's what I've been watching. I'm obsessed with those movies. They're dumb, but they're enjoyable. Is there any like actor or actress that you would want if they were still alive that you would love to work with?
Oh man, there are a lot of performers I
probably
would
River
love
Phoenix,
to work with.
right? What about River
Nope.
Phoenix?
I never got a chance to work with River Phoenix.
Yeah,
I think, yes,
but he was
on my
still
list.
alive.
Y'all saying all these people I need.
River Phoenix is the guy. What's his brother's name? Oh, poop.
What was he in?
Joaquin.
Stand by Me.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
Joaquin.
he was in Indiana Jones. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And
Okay.
Harrison Ford. That's one. I would love to meet and work with Harrison Ford.
Well,
Jonathan Brandis. Do you know who I'm talking about? Jonathan Brandis.
I know that
He was
name. Yes.
20 Yeah, he was an actor, but he passed away, committed suicide. But he was on. Oh, he was on the old original It movie, the Pennywise.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
Wait. I thought he was the original It.
Yeah, he was not the It, but he was one of the kids.
Okay, then who was the original It? Who was the original clown?
The guy from Home Alone. The worker from that hotel. He was the front desk.
Oh, the guy with the creepy smile.
Yeah, that guy.
Tim Curry.
Jim Curry. Yes.
There it
Tim
is.
Curry. Yeah.
Yeah, he came back for the new one too, I think, right?
No, he didn't.
He didn't. Who played? Oh, okay.
He's in a wheelchair. He's
He is sadly not in good health. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not in good health at all.
On a happier note, is there like any project that you've worked on? Was there like a little prop that you wish you could have taken?
Oh goodness. Wow, that's a tough one. I will say I did get a chance to get some dinosaur skin from when we worked on dinosaurs because I wanted to be able to show, whenever I do my panels, my workshops, like I'd love to be able to show how it's made because it was a really good effect at the time. And of course, technology has long since advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Things have changed in that respect, but it's still a neat piece of memorabilia. I worked on some of the Star Trek interactive things. Didn't actually get a chance to work on the Star Trek shows, but I worked on some of the Star Trek interactive projects like the Earth Tour and Star Trek: The Experience. And when I worked at the Paramount shop here in North Carolina, they had William Shatner's and Leonard Nimoy's jackets from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan hanging in our storage. I was like, ooh, those are so cool. But of course,
See, you're a good girl. I probably would have been arrested for trying to take.
Did you ever get? Would you ever want to work?
Like, would anybody really miss these? But I figured, yes.
I mean, knowing you could make a replica. No one would know.
Well, and I was like, oh gosh, now I can see what these actually look like, and I can make a copy. And I did get a chance to take some pictures when we were doing inventory, so
yeah,
I took a few for myself for future reference.
That's good.
Have you ever met, like, I know probably not in the shows, but like any stars like Leonardo DiCaprio? Like, did you get to meet like any of those famous other? I don't know.
Trying to think. I've not met Leonardo DiCaprio. I've met Dan Aykroyd, who is definitely one of my heroes. I love all the work he's done, not just Ghostbusters, but many of the other things he's done. I've met Ernie Hudson.
Obviously.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson were two of the original Ghostbusters, and I'm very glad to have gotten a chance to meet both of them. And they were both really nice.
Yeah, who were they?
Dan Aykroyd was Ray Stantz in the original Ghostbusters. Yep, and Ernie Hudson was Winston Sedmore. And they've both done many other things as well. You'd probably recognize Dan Aykroyd, who was in the Blues Brothers. He's been a lot. He was in Trading Places, which is another one of my favorite movies. I mean, these are all older, but they're great movies. And he was such a great person to meet. I got to meet. This was a little before you guys' time, but I got to meet Margot Kidder, who was an actress many years ago. She was Lois Lane in the 1980s Superman, and she was also very sweet and kind. So I got to meet Mark Hamill.
Oh,
Luke Skywalker. Yeah, Luke Skywalker. And
really?
Yes, he was a riot. He was so funny. And it wasn't on an acting project or a film. I was actually at a convention where they were giving him his honorary 501st membership, an honorary membership in our club. And I got to be one of the people to present it to him. And he said that he loved being around the girl stormtroopers because we made him feel tall.
He's not very tall for a,
he's not tall at all. No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, the original Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
Luke
Skywalker.
He also I don't often fangirl, but I fangirled over Luke Skywalker.
He looks like a Zac Efron almost.
What?
Yeah.
From Young.
Hey, you guys, hang on, I'll be right back. You guys, Michelle, Christina, you guys take over for now.
Okay, Michelle, you start.
So, how tall is Mark Hamill? Because I'm 5'1".
I think he's about 5'8" or 5'9", if I remember correctly. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but certainly he was, as Carrie Fisher says or Princess Leia says in the original Star Wars, "Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?" And so that line has certainly lasted for years and years. And he laughed about it. He said, "Yeah, I want to be next to the girl stormtroopers because now I can feel tall."
Oh, he's 69.
Yeah. How tall is he? He's like
5'9".
5'9". So he's about my height. Because I'm like,
he's not very tall.
I mean, I think
5'9's average.
For a man, yeah, but for women, for women to be 5'9" or like higher, it's not normal. But I like being tall, so.
I'm 5'2".
Yes, you're short. You're very short.
No, and I'm 5'1", so.
Okay, so Michelle, but yeah, Michelle, do you have any?
I'm the little one of the group.
What else is there?
I used to not like being as short as I am. I'm 5'4", but I realize it really does fit in well with a lot of costuming things. I look the proper height as Princess Leia against our Darth Vaders. I was excited to learn. Liz knows too. I'm a huge Back to the Future fan, and I cosplay Marty McFly. And I am the exact same height as Michael J. Fox, who played the character in the film. So I'm like, yes, that's good. As a friend of mine put it, some people will do anything for a cosplay. And it works out well. And I'm an inch shorter than Daniel Radcliffe, who's Harry Potter. So I'm pretty good with being short.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Daniel Radcliffe or no?
I haven't. I would love to. I love him.
I heard he's nice.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And I love everything he does, not just with the Harry Potter movies, but
everything else.
He sounds like such a personable person, and that he's very open and very good with the fans, and does so many other projects other than Harry Potter. So I can.
He's on Broadway too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Broadway.
I think Ways to Succeed in Business was one.
And Equus. Yep.
He did.
Yeah, Equus, the one that he's naked.
Yeah.
That's not that one. I can tell you that it's not that one, but yeah. But also Nick Jonas did that show as well. He did the same role that Daniel Radcliffe did. I was like, okay, all these people have been on Broadway that I don't know about. Okay, cool. But okay, Michelle, you haven't said anything.
So based on your film history, it seems you work in a lot of period pieces. So what research does it go into to make sure that they're accurate?
There's a lot of research, and usually the areas I work in, it's the costume designer and her assistants who do the research that goes into creating the designs. Certainly in a film such as, I'll just use The Patriot as an example because that's obviously a very period piece. I know they got quite a few of the background costumes and the Revolutionary War uniforms from Colonial Williamsburg. So they wanted to make sure that everything looked as close to the period as possible. And one of the things we did when we got all of those coats in, the British red coats, the Continental blue coats, we had to go and spray down the insides of them because the insides were, a muslin. They were a cream-colored muslin. And we sprayed them down with a weak tea. It was basically tea, and sprayed them inside to dull them down a little bit so they didn't look quite so bright white on film. So there was certainly a lot of research and a lot of work that went into that film and into the New World. They made a lot of or did a lot of research on that to make sure everything looked the way it was supposed to look.
I'll be learning how to do that in costuming.
Yes, we do. Right. We absolutely do.
I have a question.
Yes.
It says that you did a document on the Heart of an Empire in 2007. Yes. What is it? Because I'm looking at it's on YouTube, but I'm just like wondering, like what
the Heart of an Empire was the story about our group, about the Fighting 501st Legion, as it was known at the time. It was about our Star Wars group, how it got started, where it has gone since then. As they said, it started back in 1997 with just a handful of guys in stormtrooper costumes, and now we've grown to thousands and thousands of members worldwide, and it's amazing to me to see where we started and where we are now. You know, back then the internet was really young. It wasn't as easy to go out there and say, oh, I want to buy a stormtrooper costume and go on the internet and order one from Amazon or wherever. You know, we had to do a lot of work to put all the pieces together and put the costumes together ourselves. So they talk about that. They talk about the charity work that we do. Our founder, Alvin Johnson, who's a dear, dear friend of mine, started it in South Carolina when he lost his leg following a car accident. And Star Wars helped him get past, you know, everything that he was going through with the loss of his leg. And it's really great to see how that our group has grown and helps other people, you know, with similar hurdles that they're trying to overcome. It gives people something positive and fun to do.
Yeah, because I had seen another YouTube video of, I don't remember who you were being interviewed by, but you were talking about like how y'all go to like children's hospitals and stuff like that.
We do. And sadly, of course, we haven't been able to do it much lately because of COVID, but we would do children's hospital visits. Here in the Carolinas, where my chapter is, we work closely with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We'll do wish visits for children, you know, who love Star Wars, who would love to see their favorite Star Wars characters in person. One great thing we'll do, and we have done in the past, is Make-A-Wish, of course, often will send children to Disney World. That's always a popular wish.
I've seen so many of them. It's great.
Yep. And so our Star Wars group here will come and see them off at the airport, and our sister Star Wars group down in Florida will greet them when they arrive. So, you know, it's a great thing that our group does to participate with these wish visits.
Oh. You're also a part of the, oh my gosh, I'm gonna mess up. It's like the Ghostbusters League.
Yes, I love Ghostbusters as well. I am a founder of a fan group called the Southern Belle Ghostbusters, and we're a little different in that I focus on the 2016 movie because it was the women, and I love being able to show young girls. Yes, I love the 2016 one. Yes. You could be Ghostbusters too.
Yeah, it got a lot of hate. I was surprised about it. Like, this is like a remake of the old one. I was like, it's kind of not, but like it's great now because now there are like female Ghostbusters. There's a female doctor now, so now women can dress up as the doctor and be like, oh well, no one can say like, oh, you can't be the doctor because you have a girl. No, you can't say that anymore, and that's what I love.
Yeah,
I like, and also let's be real, the effects were spot on with the new one. No, see, you have some of the old like homages. You had 2 of the original Ghostbusters make appearance.
Yes, Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson. Yeah, they were both in there.
Yeah, you got
Bill Murray. Bill Murray was in there.
He got thrown out a window.
He did. He had said that the only way he would be in that Ghostbusters movie was if he got killed off. So they respected that.
Oh, so let's just throw him out a window. I love how they say it.
On Amazon, it came up on Amazon that you have your introduction to puppetry art on Amazon.
Oh yes, yep. I have several books out. Introduction to Puppetry Arts being one of them. I also have a book called Creating the Character Costume, which talks about costuming and cosplay, both of those things. Where I have interviews with numerous people in the industry, with professional costumers, with cosplayers, with museum curators who work in historical costuming, with historical reenactors. I try to approach costumes and cosplay from all the different angles so that people can get a good perspective. So that's one. As Liz knows,
and the haunted
theaters of the Carolinas. Yes, I really am a Ghostbuster in the sense that I do paranormal research.
Yeah, I saw an article about that.
Yep, I do. I work with the Charlotte Area Paranormal Society. We're a team here in the Charlotte area, and we do paranormal investigations. We also do fundraisers. So that's, it all kind of ties in together. It's interesting how that works.
I need to join that because I love paranormal stuff. And also, you're one of the ones who takes it seriously. You're not like, because you have those people who will go out there and like they'll try to be serious, but all of a sudden like they'll be like they'll get bored and they'll make stuff up. But like I can't, because it's those kind of people who make it harder for people like you to do the actual work.
Yes.
But like, so like Michelle had reminded me of a question I had earlier. What is one of your favorite periods to work on in costuming, and like what's the most difficult one to work on?
I think it's both the same. One of actually, I would say my favorite period to work on is what's called the Golden Age of Piracy, because I'm also a pirate reenactor.
Oh yes, your love of pirates.
Yeah, I love the pirates, but that also encompasses, it does kind of fall into or leads into the Revolutionary War period. I do love the colonial costumes. I love the Revolutionary War uniforms. I love the clothing that pirates of that era wore, and formal clothing at that time. And especially the women's formal clothing can be very difficult to put together. A proper dress from that time period that a woman, a higher society woman might wear, had so many layers and so many features. And there's a lot that goes into those, into making them, into putting them on, into wearing them. So, I would say while that is one of my favorite periods, you're not wrong, and that's also one of the most difficult, I feel, because there's so much involved in it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, courage alone was hard. Yeah. Those capes were so much fun. No, it's amazing.
Each period I think has its challenges, absolutely. Yeah. And I've always thought it's interesting to note that the basic style of clothing for men, the pants, the coat, the vest, the shirt, has changed very little over the past couple of 100 years, where it has changed drastically for women. Mm-hmm. So I've always thought that was a very
For one, we're not having to wear
corsets.
Yeah, although I've always wanted to wear one. I've always wanted to know what it feels like.
No, you don't. Okay, I have one. You can, like, of course, like nowadays they're a little bit more comfortable, but they still hurt. Like it's still like it restricts your lungs, and it's not fun. I got to wear one of the little things we made for courage, little Shakespearean things. I put one of those on, and those things are crazy comfortable. I had
the ruff. Yeah, that was a challenge as well. Yes, making those Elizabethan ruffs that we did for a couple of the shows. So yes, that was interesting as well.
Did you work for the Hunger Games?
I did. Right? I was a wardrobe stylist. Yep.
How was that? Because that's a big movie too.
To be honest, that was a very interesting experience in that the main home base, the main home studio or base campus, we called it, for Hunger Games, was in an old factory that was north of Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And it was not quite condemned, but close enough. So we had to have bottled water. You couldn't drink the water that was there. You had to be very careful about washing your hands and things like that. So it was an interesting experience from that perspective. But
where did they film the movie?
It was here in North Carolina.
North Carolina?
Yep, they shot the first Hunger Games in North Carolina.
I know that the arena was filmed up in not Thunder Mountain.
Yeah,
Kings Mountain. It was filmed up in Kings Mountain, and I think like they kept the pedestal in the cornucopia. Like after they wrapped, they kept it up so people can go and see it. Now it's like obviously now it's gone and poof. But that was like
Was it fun working with Paramount Productions? Because now Paramount Plus is new and all now, but Paramount, was it fun working with all those?
That was also interesting. Paramount, so many years ago, Paramount bought a line of amusement parks. And so to support those amusement parks and also some of their other interactive properties, they had a studio and workshop here in Charlotte, and that's where I worked. And I worked in the character studio, and I helped build props, I helped build costumes, but one of my favorite projects for that was working on props and costumes for Star Trek: The Experience. And that was a big interactive experience out in Las Vegas. It's not there anymore, sadly. But we had to make of reproduction Star Trek costumes. We had to refurb a lot of original Star Trek costumes. So getting the chance to see all of that. I remember when Patrick Stewart, who plays Jean-Luc Picard, we got one of his costumes in. And all of us in the shop were like, oh, I want to hold it. So we got a chance to take a look at that, take pictures, see what that looked like. That was fun. I also worked on Titanic, the movie on tour.
That's where I was looking. I'm like, the Titanic. I'm like, wait a second. And then it's the movie on tour.
Yes, yeah, we got a chance to do that. So I got a chance to work on the refurb, help clean up the actual ship model that had been used in the film. And it was neat to see all the incredible amount of detail in the ship model. I mean, it was beautiful and it was perfect. And so I'm glad I got the chance to do that.
Yeah, there's a traveling exhibit that came to Charlotte or Houston. I don't know where it was, but my grandparents took me to see it. And they had a little piece of the Titanic that's from the actual ship on display. And it had a little hole carved into it. So you can tell people you touched the Titanic. And the reactions I've gotten from that, people think I'm lying. But then after I explain it, they're like, oh, okay. So you touched a piece of it. I was like, doesn't matter if it was a piece or a chunk. It's still the boat.
Yes.
But they're not teaching that about that ship anymore. They're not really focusing.
And it's still in the water too. It's like
but it's almost gone. Like in the next 10 years, I think it's gonna be completely gone. Like they're trying to get as much of that ship up as possible, like as many like pieces and stuff
that's left around.
And they actually have a Titanic museum in Orlando. Yeah. Mike and Stephanie did a video on it.
That is supposedly haunted for some odd reason.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I actually went to the Titanic Museum in Gainesville, Pigeon Forge, a few years ago. And I'm also a Titanic buff. I'm very interested by Titanic things. And so I was excited to go to that museum. And this doesn't really have anything to do with costuming, but it's a fun aside story. So most of the crockery and the porcelain aboard the Titanic was made by the Royal Dalton China Company, which is located in London, England, specifically in a borough of London called Lambeth, which is my last name. And so my mom and dad and I once went to see a Titanic exhibit where they were showing some of the props and or some of the artifacts that they had raised from the ship. And one of them was a toilet from a first-class cabin. And so there, on the inside of this toilet, was printed Royal Dalton Lambeth, our family name. And there it is, our family name on the inside of a toilet. My dad was like, well, that seems about right.
Well, you made it when your name's engraved on a toilet.
On the inside of a toilet. And not only the inside of a toilet, but a toilet off a sinking ship. Yeah. It just seemed perfect.
I love anything about the Titanic because we learned about it in high school, which I was surprised about. But I'm one of those people who I love the movie, except for one tiny little detail that, the Mythbusters proved. And I'm not one of those people who, and Cher knows, and Christina knows, that I don't let stuff go. And that whole little door thing, every time I watch the movie, it still makes me mad. That whole, or the wall thing. Because
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
So at Disney Springs at Planet Hollywood, they have the door. They have the door there. I sealed the door. Two people definitely could have fit on there. I've seen it.
Saw it.
They could fit.
And we also saw the ruby slippers from Wizard of Oz. One of the four pair that were, and then I think one got stolen. Someone tried to auction it on eBay
recently. They just found
Dorothy's original dress. They have Dorothy's dress at Planet Hollywood.
Oh yeah, so here's my thing. If you're gonna steal a prop like that, don't auction it off eBay. Don't put it on eBay because
they found Dorothy's dress just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, at a school I think it was, or
it had her name and everything.
Yeah, it's amazing how many of those props from that movie alone went missing. And
I'm surprised it went missing. Like, how do you
because anything from that movie, like even the tiniest little thing, even like if it's like I don't know, a hat from the movie, and you can you can prove that it's the hat, like it's worth so much money. Like even a script from the movie, the script from the movies.
Sorry, you continue.
Don't let me continue because I'll go off on a rant and then we'll never get done. Go ahead.
Okay, so the guy who played the wizard in Wizard of Oz, him and another person were going through a bunch of costumes at MGM, and they came across the jacket that he wears in the beginning at the end of the film, and in the lining of it, it said LB Bomb or whatever the actual guy who, it actually said his name in there. And his wife even confirmed to him that is my husband's jacket.
Yeah.
So he got to wear. So the wizard got to wear that jacket, got to wear the original guy's jacket in the movie.
Yeah, Alfred Baum, what's funny is he wasn't going to write The Wizard of Oz. He was encouraged, I think, by his mother and his wife. They're like, go ahead, try and write it. And then all of a sudden it blew up. And because of how much children loved it, he ended up writing like 12 more. And I was like, I'm really happy that your wife and your mother told you to write this story because now it's one of my favorite stories of all time. But,
and if you watch, like I said, if you watch Wizard of Oz, in the behind the scenes, they have a documentary about how he came up with ideas for the book and everything, and like the file cabinet. That's how he came up with Oz, because of OZ. Yep. He kept on saying magical land, and the actor who played him in that documentary was
excuse me,
Ritter, something Ritter. Three's Company. John Ritter. That's it.
Yeah, Jack Ritter. Jack Ritter.
I'm happy you knew that.
Or John Ritter. John Ritter. That's what it was. Yeah.
So, Cher, I got another question for you. Since we're talking about like black and white movies, have you ever come across? Because I know with black and white, like especially on film, like having to, and we have this trouble in theater sometimes, having to balance the color out to try and get that right shade. How is that different from doing it on stage and doing it on film? Because obviously it's completely different.
It is, and you're absolutely right. And certainly film absolutely affects the color of fabrics or backgrounds or props. One of my favorite stories, and again, this dates back to Star Trek, this was way before your time, but Star Trek the motion picture, when that came out,
the first one? Or?
The very, very first one, okay. Yes. The costumes in that film looked like they were kind of a medium gray color. In real life, they're actually a greenish color. They're quite green. And it's because the film at that time, both the film and the lighting completely changed the color of the costume. And that happens a great deal. You have to white balance your film, your camera, as you know, and you rarely use pure white in a costume or in a prop because it will throw off the lighting. So many times we'll have to take white clothing and what's called tack it down, just as you would in theater, make it look, turn it cream, even a tan sometimes, and it will appear white on screen. So that is certainly something we have to do. And there are many other color adjustments that you have to make. And of course, with film technology changing all the time, and of course, especially with high definition, you can see every little detail in film now where you couldn't necessarily see everything before. So now we have to be very cognizant of that and make sure everything looks the way it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
Because it's like with the Addams Family. Because
that's exactly what I was thinking. Because like the set for the TV show, when you look at it in color, you're like, oh, it's hideous.
Yeah, it's pink. It's all pink.
I'm like, but when you look at it, it looks beautiful in black and white. Michelle, I was just. Me and Michelle, we have the same.
And also they use for the Addams Family, because they did a bunch of mixtures of pink and red. So a lot of the stuff you see on that set is actually used from the movie The Unsinkable Molly Brown.
And that's another thing. There are so many things in Hollywood that get reused. When I was on New World, a lot of the armors and the weaponry the armor pieces and weaponry they used for that had originally been used in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, wow.
One thing I like to tell people about is, you may not be familiar with all of this, but again, this is a story from my Star Trek days. In Star Trek The Next Generation, the TV series, the chest armor that one of the female Klingons wears, it had actually originally been used in the movie He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It had been worn by the character Evelyn. Yeah, I'll show you the pictures, Liz, so you can see what I'm talking about. And then
I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my gosh.
That same piece was later used in a TV show called The Tick, a live-action version of The Tick, on one of the background superheroes. So stuff constantly gets reused all the time.
Yeah, I watched that show. That was not a good show. You mentioned you mentioned Legacies, and I love that. I love that show. And I'm kind of sad that it's coming to an end. But what did you do on that show?
I actually got a chance to have a co-starring role in that show, and it wasn't a very big one, but in one of the episodes in the third season, and not too long ago, the character was called Elsa, the scientist's wife. Well, you come to discover she was the wife of Albert Einstein. And it's like a quick 2-minute segment at the very beginning of the episode. It's a flashback scene to 1933 Belgium. You see the scientist in his cabin and his wife is there, and they're having to pack up and leave as quickly as they can because the bad guys are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I had 3 lines in German, and we packed up and left, and that was my big TV debut there.
Well, I know what I'm watching tonight. I'm gonna go back because I know exactly what episode you're talking about, and
Yep.
I wasn't really paying attention when I was watching it because the third season hasn't been that good lately. But oh gosh, that's cool.
That was me.
Did you get to audition for that, or was it which is like, okay, we need someone for this role? Hey, let's pick someone from the crew.
I absolutely auditioned for that. I have an agent. I have an acting agent who's got me a lot of really cool things. And the production team, the casting team sent out a call or for this particular type of character, and they were looking specifically for a woman my age who could speak German, who was familiar with German, which I am. I can speak German. And so they sent me what's called the sides, which is what you read when you're auditioning. Mm-hmm. And I taped an audition and sent it to my agent, who sent it to the casting folks. And very luckily, they liked my audition, and I got the part. I was really excited about it. It was a great experience. They shoot that down in Georgia, outside of Atlanta. And so I had to go down to Georgia for a couple of days for my costume fitting. And then the next week, I went down to do my shoot, to do work. And again, COVID has changed things so much. You had to have a COVID test every day while you were down there.
Sorry, I have to eat dinner, but I can come back after.
We're probably gonna be wrapping up soon. So, do you have any other questions before you go?
No, it's all good. I asked all my questions.
All right, Christina.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Have a good day or good night.
You too.
Bye, Christina. Yeah. All right, sorry, I just cut you off. I'm so sorry. I had a question. Yeah, no, because they have to film near where they film Vampire Diaries because obviously it's a spinoff and they go into the town a lot. I never actually realized how many times they actually go in. So, because those Vampire Diaries fans will attack them if the tiniest thing is changed in those shows.
Yes.
I had a question. I just completely forgot. Oh my gosh, Michelle, please tell me you have a question so I can remember mine.
So what didn't you say you also had a part in Vampire Diaries?
Not in Vampire Diaries itself, just in the spinoff. Yeah, Legacy.
Okay.
That's what she was talking
about. When I heard that, I was like, wait, what? Because I have a friend on Instagram who absolutely loves Vampire Diaries, has gone down to the town where they film and everything, and I heard that. I was like, oh, I gotta let her know about you.
Well, tell her about Legacies.
Yeah, sadly not Vampire Diaries yet. But again, my agent still sends me auditions for things. So you never know. Hopefully I might end up on something else. I did a History Channel thing quite a few years ago, but it was a History Channel documentary. I had a starring role in that. I've done a lot of commercials. I've had a lot of fun doing extra roles, background parts on various productions. So I totally enjoy acting whenever anyone will let me.
Such as?
They just recently shot a movie based on the book Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, here in Charlotte, and I was an extra in that. There's a film called Evolution. I was an extra in that. I did get to do some extra work on The Patriot. I was one of the townspeople in that. I've done a whole bunch of commercials. I've been a background person in a lot of commercials. So.
Oh, also, Michelle, you don't know this, but I know this because I watched a news interview with that Cher did. You got to work with Kristen Chenoweth.
I did. Yes, I got to on the. There was a Hallmark Channel movie shooting here a few years ago. The shooting title was When Angels Land, and I think they ended up calling it A Christmas Love Story.
Yeah.
But Kristen Chenoweth was the lead role in that, the lead actress. And I got a chance to work with her on some of her costumes. And she's so sweet. She was very sweet and kind. And so that was certainly a lot of fun as well.
Gabriela Gonzalez, who goes to Winthrop, she got to be in that movie with Kristen. She was one of the kids.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I was like, you also made the costumes for the Carolina Panthers.
I do, yes. I work with Sir Purr of the Carolina Panthers. I help keep him looking good for the games and his appearances. I like to say I'm his veterinarian.
Are you looking at any new costumes for him or no?
No, I finished something not too long ago. But of course, the Panthers they just started training again. They just started training camp. So hopefully I might be able to do some more things for Sir Purr once the season gets up and running.
All right, Michelle, you have any other questions?
Yes, so I also read about that you are active, like you've taken classes in sword fencing.
Her stage fighting. Her and another student, Kersey. When you're doing the Courage to Right a Woman's Wrong, there's a lot of sword play in that. They were so excited to help our students learn how to sword fight. They kept bugging our director, Matt. It's like, hey, Matt, do you need somebody to teach sword fighting? And I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I'll explain that.
Well, as part of my pirate stuff, I sword fight. I work with, our group actually does what we call stage combat. We do sword fighting, and we do sword fighting demonstrations. We also talk about the history of the weapons, the types of weapons that we use. And yeah, as Liz was saying, I luckily got a chance to work with the teacher who does a lot of the fight choreography for our productions. He hasn't lately because of COVID, but I got certified in stage combat for quarterstaff with the American Society of Fight Directors and Dueling Arts International. So I got certified to beat people up with sticks. I know how to do that now.
I would absolutely love that. I always got really into it, like when me and my brother would like sword fight with sticks when we were kids. But I used to get way too into it. His hands would get cut up a lot. I would get way too into it.
See, no, my parents got me when I was little. They got me these Power Ranger gloves that when you punch, it makes a sound. I ended up punching two of my brother's teeth out by accident.
Oh no!
So that's why practice with that kind of stuff is very, very important.
Yes.
Michelle, do you have another question? Because I have one. This is probably my last one.
Yeah. Also, I heard you got to work with John
Cena.
John Leguizamo. Yes,
on his one-man show.
Who?
John Leguizamo is an actor. He still works in Hollywood. I'm trying to remember what you might know him as. He was
I loved him in Moulin Rouge and what's it called? Why am I blanking on
the Mario Brothers movie? He was Spawn. He was in Spawn.
Oh, okay. I know Spawn.
He's done quite a few things. You'd probably recognize him if you saw him. But yes, when I was in school in New York at Juilliard, I got a chance to work with him and be a part of and actually be in his off-Broadway show. So
what's his name?
I performed off-Broadway. But yeah, he was so much fun to work with.
Jonathan what?
John Leguizamo.
Oh, John. Okay. I'm really looking him up right now. John.
It's Leguizamo. And he's been.
And he was in Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
Okay. I know him. Okay.
Yeah, you'd probably recognize him if you saw him.
Okay.
But he was so much fun to work with. I really enjoyed the chance to do that.
Oh, he's gonna be in the Green Veil. Oh, now I'm very excited to see that movie. He also did Waiting for Godot as well.
Yep.
They're making a movie of Waiting for Godot. That's gonna be a very odd movie. Michelle, remind us, we have to do Waiting for Godot. What is it called? Absurdist. It's an absurdist play, I think. But it's a fun play. It's funny in some ways.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay.
It's basically two guys waiting for this guy named Godot. That's pretty much all it is.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. It's interesting how like different companies put it on. Like so many different people have put it on in so many different ways. You can find several of the productions on YouTube. I had my question and then I lost it. Well. If there was any show you'd love Winthrop to do that you have, so you could be able to work on it, what like play or musical, what show would you, if you got to choose solely, what show would you want Winthrop to do?
1776. I love that play, and it kind of has a resurgence with the popularity of Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually always wanted to play a congressman, just one of the background congressmen in that play, just because it looks like they're having so much fun. They get to sit there and bang on tables, and it just looks like it would be a fun play to work on. So if I had a choice, that is certainly the play I would love to do.
That would be interesting to see us do that. I would love us to do Ghost. I think Ghost would be really a challenge, but I think it'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
But I saw a college. It was like some Saint college. They used all their money and they got the rights to Wicked, but everything else looked so bad. The costumes, the makeup, it all looked, because all the money went to making the getting the rights and the rights to record it. So I was like, oh, see, that shows you, like, it's great if you can get the rights, but also you have to make sure there has to be a balance between the two. Because I know
it costs so much. It costs so much to get the rights to do something like that, as you know. So yeah.
I know. I think we tried to get the rights to record the Addams Family.
Yes.
But we ultimately did not.
Do it.
Which I was so bummed out about that, because that was a great show. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember my question. Michelle, please tell me you have more. Or are you out?
How many people will normally be assigned to an actor in costuming? Like, well, they have so many people handling, like, the background cast, and then the actual stars, and then stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely. Generally, the leads, the stars, have their own dresser who is responsible for them. And many times, some, larger A-list actors have their own costume person that they take with them from production to production. So, they have somebody that they like, they're familiar with, they know how to work with. Then there are, as you said, background costumers, and I've worked in that as well. People who take care of the background. You might have one or two people they are seeing to, a crowd scene, 10, 15, 20 people, sometimes even larger. So it depends on the production. For something, for instance, like The Patriot, we literally had hundreds of background extras because we had all the soldiers who were there performing or working on the battle scenes. And we had probably about 6 or 7 background costumers at any one time on hand, helping to make sure that they looked good for when they were going to shoot, and make sure things were in order for them. So it depends on the production.
Because also you have to go to each single one, and you have to size them up. You have to figure out what's going to be the right fit. That's a lot of people to be trying to clothe.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And usually they'll do a fitting beforehand. Now, there are some times, I've worked on some productions, when you've got a lot of background extras and you may need more people, and people walk in that you may not have seen before. You throw them into whatever you have on hand and send them out. Many times, though, when they cast a background extra for a specific part, you come in a few days before, they do a costume fitting for you. They save your costume for the day of shooting, and then that's what they put you in when you show up. So, having worked as a background extra on myself, I'm familiar with that. You go in for your fitting, you come in, you put on your costume, and you go through makeup, you go through hair, and then they come throughout the shooting day and make sure you're still looking the way you're supposed to.
Do you have to have, like, a meeting beforehand with all the hair people and the makeup and the dressing to make sure, like, it all goes cohesive and everything, and it looks the way that the director wants it to look?
Not necessarily as a background performer, but as a technician, yes. You usually, they'll tell you, okay, we want, they want this group to look this way and this group to look this way. And certainly once you go through costumes and hair and makeup, then afterwards, the costume designer, sometimes the director, will walk through and look at everyone and make sure, okay, yes, these people look the way I want them to look, and these are the people I'm going to put over here, when we'll put this group over here. So yes, it is definitely a very collaborative effort.
Okay, I remembered my question. Okay, so when you look back at your entire, this is a hard question, just want to warn you. When you look back at throughout your entire career, is there one specific, like, moment that you're like, like, in your heart, like, you're never going to be able to forget it? Like, it could be anything.
Yes, in a sense there is. When I worked on Muppet Christmas Carol, we worked so hard. We put in long hours. We worked many days, sometimes without a break. It was a lot of hard work. And there were some times where I was like, man, this is just that was a time when I was questioning, is this something I really want to do? Is this the career I really want to go into? Because while I learned a lot and it was a lot of fun, it was also a lot of hard work. And like, I don't know what's going to come of this. But then when the movie came out and I went and saw the movie and I saw how people reacted to it when they were watching it, I saw how it made people feel. And I also realized, 20 odd years down the road, people still watch it and people still love it. I'm like, I had a part in that. I helped create that. And that certainly has stayed in my mind. Along with the Muppet Christmas Carol, talking about that, I have a really good friend. She's one of my best friends from college. She's still a good friend of mine today. She works in the government, and she works in a pretty important branch of the government. And she invited me to one of her Christmas parties, her company Christmas parties, for lack of a better word. And I'm here at this gathering with people who are like high-level diplomats and high-level government officials. And they're all talking about, well, I had to do this with this leader of this country, and I had to talk about this, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I make puppets, I suck. But then I overheard a couple of them saying, yeah, when I was at the Watch Center late one night, I put in a movie to amuse myself, and I put him up at Christmas Carol, and that's one of my favorite films, and I love it so much. And I'm thinking, okay, good, I don't suck so much after all. So, yeah.
That's
I know.
One thing I miss.
I know, like every Christmas, I have like a Christmas Carol day is what I call it. I'll start like with the OG one that I'm sure we watched in high school. Or I watched in middle school. Yeah, middle school. And then I'll watch obviously the Muppets, because why not? And then I watched the new one with Jim Carrey playing like 5 different characters, which is very impressive, by the way. And so yeah, that's what every year, and I never get tired of it, ever. Okay. I'm trying to think. What was I gonna say? I completely forgot. Michelle. Every time I just kick it to Michelle.
But
I just love the making of the magic of it. Like I said, I haven't been in any kind of production or anything since I was in high school, and I loved doing that, where I knew secrets that my friends, when they're watching the play, they would just be like, oh, that was interesting. Like, oh yeah, when this was going on stage, this is what was happening backstage. We were running around like crazy trying to get into our costumes and trying to do this and trying to do that. I love knowing all those secrets. I love the secrets, because that makes it more magical for me, to be honest.
Yeah, behind the scenes stuff is really is very interesting to see. And, a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into producing something like that, a play, a TV show, a film. And it's so many different people coming together and bringing their individual skills and talents to create this one final finished product. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of hard work, but so many times at the end, you look at what you've done, you're like, oh, I helped do that. And it is a good feeling.
I also remembered, I don't know why it just popped in my head, Chicago's anniversary is next year. And I'm very excited. And I really hope they do something special for it, because it's going to be the 20th anniversary, because they didn't do anything.
I'm sure they will. Yeah, I'm sure they probably will. I can't imagine not. Yeah.
I know, because we covered that, like, I think it was last week. Yeah, last week we covered Chicago. And it's like us, like, 40 minutes talking about Cell Block Tango. But,
because it's our favorite.
Because it's probably the best number in the entire movie, in the entire movie and production. I mean, that's my opinion.
You still have the song stuck in your head, don't you?
It's my ringtone. Okay, it is my ringtone. Everyone in my phone, even Cher, has their own specific ringtone, and I personally think Cher would love her ringtone.
What is my ringtone? What's my ringtone?
You're gonna have to find out, and I will play it for you when we come back to school. So
fair.
So yeah.
Or you can try to call her, right now.
No. My phone on vibrate now.
Oh.
No. I'm gonna make sure. Wait, it's gonna be worth it.
Well, I'll look forward to that.
But yeah, Michelle, do you have one last question, and we're gonna wrap up? Nope.
I think I'm out of questions right now.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Cher.
Thank you for asking me, Liz. I appreciate it. It's good to see you, and I'll look forward to seeing you back in class this fall.
I can't wait. And hopefully I'll actually be able to finish my individual project.
Yes.
I was gonna make like a 70s suit, but that didn't. Well, I still have the pieces, so worst case is I can come in and just actually put it together now because I still have all of the pieces together.
We can still make that happen. And Michelle, nice to meet you.
So, nice to meet you.
Hoping to
maybe I'm following you now on Instagram, so I'll be seeing all the magic you'll be making.
Well, Cher, you have is your Etsy shop up yet?
Should be up in the next couple of weeks. I am starting an Etsy shop called Puppet Express, where I make a lot of. I'll have finished puppets. I'll have patterns, and then and kits that you can buy. And one thing I forgot to mention, I am in the waiting. I technically broke the Guinness World Record for the largest collection of finger puppets. So now I will just have to wait for the official confirmation from Guinness.
Oh, okay.
I think I saw a video on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cher's taking the world by storm right now with her. They are really cute. They're really cute finger puppets. So when you get that up, be sure to send me the link, and I can send it out to my Instagram.
I absolutely will.
Because you are probably going to get a huge order from me because they are very, very cute.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make this into like a little series and maybe have other professors in the theater department come on and do the same thing. But
I'm sure they would love to do that.
Thank you so much, Cher. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us.
Well, thank you for having me. It was good to see you both. And Liz, I'll look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You have a good night, Cher, all right?
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just remove her. So yeah, like I said, I hope to make this into a maybe not like on a set schedule, but maybe like in between like productions, because when our musical comes around, it's gonna be, especially if we're doing, I think we're doing a period. No, we're not doing any period pieces this year. So yeah, we have a full load this semester. So hopefully in between, I do want to get Matt on here. You would get a kick out of Matt. He's done a lot of directing projects and stuff like that. Oh my gosh! Now I remembered my question. Whatever, I can text her. It had to do with David Lynch, who's a very amazing director.
Is she still in the green room?
No, she's gone. But that's all right. I can ask her at school. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Michelle rocking it with her research, and Christina. But yeah, Michelle, you got anything to say before we close the night?
Just go out there and support your fellow actors and directors and producers and dressmakers and makeup people.
Go see shows. And
go see shows, definitely.
Yeah, no, Cher made a good point. Like, they don't, like, obviously you and I now have a good idea of what goes into a show, but those who don't know anything about theater, a lot does go into making these shows happen. And I especially have like hands-on stuff. Even though college shows are a lot smaller, it's still Winthrop puts on good shows, and so it's still it's a lot, man. So go see a local theater shows. Go, even if it's not like something you want to like. I mean, you should go see it because you're interested in it. But even if you just want to check it out, like Christina didn't want to see Wicked because she didn't know if she was gonna like it. I was like, well, that's kind of the point. You're supposed to go and see it. If you like it, then awesome. If you don't ever have to see it again. That's the point. So if you don't think you're gonna like the show, go see it anyway. Support your local theaters. Support each other.
And if you want to know more about theater and movies and stuff like that, you can just come on to Liz's channel, and you'll hear us talk about it. Because we do a lot of research, and like tonight we had a special guest on here who works in the business, who knows what she's talking about, and the amazing work she does.
Has worked with a lot of celebrities. I don't really like calling them celebrities. Who worked with a lot of well-known names in the film and theater industry. Especially Lucius Malfoy. But yeah. So we're gonna hop on off for tonight because I am hungry and I'm pretty sure I hear my mom calling me. But Michelle, thank you again for coming on and like talking. And Again, another special thanks to Miss Cher Lambeth, who is a rock star. Maybe I'll get my other costume teacher on her. Her name is Janet. She's really sweet. But yeah. So Michelle, you have a lovely night, and you guys
too.
all out there stay safe. And I guess we will see. Oh wait, next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, this is the season finale of Theater 101 season 2. We'll be covering The Lion King, and I will send that to you tonight. We'll be covering the original Broadway production of The Lion King, and then yes, we're actually doing the stage production. We're not doing the movie. We're actually doing the production because I actually have the production. And so I am very excited to talk about this one because it looks like a lot.
And I've never seen it, so
and nor have I. And I've heard so many good things about it. Obviously it's better to see it in person, but guess what? Me and Michelle are broke, and we can't afford to see it on Broadway. So oh well. And also it's the original cast, so why not? So you guys all have a great night, and we'll see you guys here next Wednesday at 7:30 for Lion King. All right, bye guys.